Hey, assalamu alaikum everyone. So today I am going to be talking about why you should not worry about learning and understanding everything in the language. Now I've been going through the Assiml books, so the Arabic one and the French one, which are here. And I've got a link below in the description because I kind of did a video recently about these books, so you could find out more there. And I've been going through to the later chapters or the later lessons, and I feel like my progress is kind of getting slower. I feel like I'm kind of understanding less. And a big lesson I've learned probably in my language learning journey is not to try and feel like I have to understand everything sort of straight away. And this is something I'm going to be talking about in this video, and it's been a fantastic thing for me on my language learning journey. So hello friends, on this channel I share my journey learning languages as a Muslim, and I try to share the best tips that I have found. So as I've already said, I'm currently going through the two books, French and Arabic, with Assiml. I'm currently on lesson 17 on the Arabic one, and I think 17 as well on the French one. Just conveniently I sort of kind of got to that sort of level. So I'm currently on these sort of chapters, and the earlier lessons were really good. I was really kind of picking up stuff quite quick, and partly for that reason was that there was a less amount of words. There's probably one or two lines. I was able to kind of understand everything. It felt like it was kind of really making sense for me, and I was feeling really good. But then with the later lessons, it was getting kind of more frustrating. So mainly there was more words to kind of look up and understand. The actual sentences were longer. The lessons themselves were longer. There's more lines. And, it was kind of, some bits were dependent on what I had learnt earlier. So it was kind of getting kind of more frustrating. And basically, I was not going through things as quickly as I wanted. I tried to have the schedule or tried to do one lesson a day, and I just felt like I wasn't learning enough, and I was really kind of struggling to try and do that one lesson a day, because with the later lessons, the lessons were kind of a bit bigger. There was more to kind of understand. And something that I kind of learned from a channel from Lingo Steve, Steve Kaufman, who has a really great channel on YouTube. I think all the videos are also available as podcasts as well. I'm kind of talking a lot about it. Him on this channel, a lot of the information he's given me has really helped in terms of learning a language. And one of the things I got out of that was, don't worry about comprehension, which basically means just keep going through the lessons. Don't worry about trying to understand everything. And that was mind blowing for me. That was the thing that kind of really helped. And it was kind of basically, he was going on the lines, this is only natural. As you get to the later lessons, there's going to be more new things you're going to be exposed to. You're getting more deeper into the language. So, you're not going to understand everything. And and one of the most important things was, don't stop, just keep going. Even, if I'm not understanding anything. And so, just kind of keep going through the lessons, keep going through it. Don't get stuck on one lesson, which is what happened to me a lot. I was on one lesson. It was just taking me ages to kind of go through it, because I was trying to understand probably too much. I was trying to get too detailed into it. And then what I found was, it was just getting frustrating as well. And what I do now is when I'm going through something or going through exercises, I kind of go through it a bit quicker. And if I'm on the exercise, I won't spend too long on it. I spend enough time on it, try and think about it. And if I don't know the answer, I'll quickly look up the answer and then kind of move on to the next question. And another thing to think about is that, all these concepts are really strange as well at first. My brain's not used to it. There's new words, new pronunciations and things like that. So, I just need to kind of chuck stuff at my brain. As Lingo Steve said, my brain will automatically eventually kind of make connections. And another important thing to think about is that, I am learning, even if I feel like I'm not learning. So, I need to sort of trust the process. Just keep doing it. Just keep going through the lessons. Don't get stuck. Keep exposing myself to words. The brain just needs to kind of get used to the language. It just needs to hear it, see it, taste it, everything. The brain just needs to constantly kind of do that. And another really thing is just in terms of how we kind of approach a language from how we sort of treat ourselves about it. So, for example, definitely, one thing I learned is, don't be too hard on myself. When I'm not understanding anything, I feel, oh my gosh, why am I not understanding what's going on? Or if I'm not going through a lesson a day, or, just not picking up things, even though I've been over it, 10, 20 times. That's totally fine. That's just part of the whole kind of language learning process, it goes back to that thing again, don't expect to understand everything. When you think about it, I'm trying to learn this language really quickly, and that's just not how things work. Your brain needs time to adapt and pick things up. The most important thing is just to keep going, keep trying to make a little bit of progress. And one of the things I've definitely come to believe as well is that sometimes, I can imagine one of the main reasons why I wouldn't sort of continue learning a language is just because of the stress and anxiety of trying to learn that language and not learning enough. So I believe this is why one of the main reasons could be, if I ever do stop learning a language, is because this kind of stress and anxiety of learning it just kind of stops me from learning the language. So I need to be wary of that, and I need to make it as enjoyable as possible. And that way, I'm more likely to stick to the language and keep working for it. And it again goes back to that principle process of focus and enjoying the language, making it as enjoyable as possible, not being stuck on one lesson, but moving on. I think that's helped a lot. Definitely just keep moving on. And I've been surprised by, there's been stuff that I haven't understood a while ago, was now I've kind of a few lessons later, just somehow it's just automatically just kind of stuck. So it is really just kind of keep exposing myself. Another thing is that, this same principle of not trying to comprehend everything also applies when learning with YouTube or listening to audio. So, when I'm trying to learn a language like French or Arabic, I'm watching YouTube videos or something that I enjoy. Like French, I always talk about food. There's a really good channel called Food Story. They have some interesting videos. I try and find the videos that I really like, chuck on the subtitles. Sometimes you have automatic subtitles. I'm just trying to see what words come up, and it's just a fun thing to watch, and it definitely kind of helps in terms of learning a language. But again, I don't focus on trying to understand everything. That's not something I need to do. I just see what words come up, what automatically my brain kind of focuses on, and naturally I will kind of pick up stuff, or words will keep appearing, and I could do things like that. So again, the same thing kind of applies there, and it's just important just to keep exposing the brain to different words, different parts of the language. And as I get to later lessons, the less I will understand at first. I think that's a very natural thing to expect. So I'm currently on lesson 70 for both Arabic and for French, but I can imagine when I get to lessons 30, 40, 50, 60, I think for French there's 100 lessons, for Arabic there's about 80 lessons. It's all going to be strange and new. So I'm probably going to understand even less and less as I go through these lessons. But just being aware of that definitely kind of helps me a lot. And then one of the things Assiml talks about is that as you go through the lessons is to then, for example, once you get to lesson 50, is to then also go back to lesson 1 and kind of do that at the same time. And then the idea being that I should be able to go through the lessons again. So I'm repeating the lessons, but I understand more now because I'm going on the second phase. So that's a really good thing that helps. Okay, I don't understand the lesson at first, but I'll come back to it a bit later on. And then hopefully at that point, I would have kind of understood more of the lesson. So yeah, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, I really appreciate it if you smash that like button, as it really helps with the algorithm. It's almost coming up to Eid as well. So everyone out there, wish you Eid Mubarak and Assalamu Alaikum.